Fort Bliss soldier killed, three others wounded in Sunrise Village shopping center shooting. This was written by Daniel Barunda for El Paso Times, published on October 17th, 2022. Let's go to El Paso, Texas again. A Fort Bliss soldier was clutching a gun in his hand when he was killed in a shooting during a large gathering outside a nightclub in the parking lot of a Northeast shopping center, El Paso police officials said Monday. Three other people also were wounded when gunfire erupted in the crowd at about 2:20 a.m. Sunday, even as police were patrolling in the large parking lot of the Sunrise Village shopping center at 8500 Dyer Street, officials said. Julian Maurer, 29, of Fort Bliss, died in the shooting. Rest in peace. The others wounded were LaChandria Aguirre, 31, of El Paso, Desmond Wilridge, 24, and Caitlin Thomas, 27, both of Fort Bliss, according to a police news release. There had been no arrest as of Monday as a homicide investigation continued by detectives with the Crimes Against Persons Unit. Officials had not been disclosed on Sunday that someone had died in the incident. Sergeant Enrique Carrillo, a police spokesperson, said that officers already were in the parking lot after someone had made a threat of a shooting after being kicked out of the EP Clubhouse nightclub in the shopping center, commonly known as Sunrise Center. As officers were patrolling, shots were fired amongst a large group gathered in the parking lot, according to a police news statement. Police said that Maurer was found dead at the scene while still holding a gun in his hand. Aguirre had a gunshot wound that was not life-threatening. Wilridge and Thomas left the scene and went to different hospitals, police said. Now pause right here. As we know, there is no such thing as a non-life-changing gunshot wound. Every time somebody is shot, that is a traumatic event. This person might need permanent physiological or psychological help for the rest of their life. This person might suffer from paralysis or might need an amputation for the part that was shot from them. They might die from their injuries later, or also they could have a heart attack when they get the medical bill from the hospital, because America is the only first world industrialized nation that does not guarantee universal health care for its citizens, even the citizens who are suffering from gunshot wounds as a byproduct of the Second Amendment and the permeation of guns in our society. Anyone with information on the Sunrise Center shooting may anonymously call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at this number. So, rest in peace to the young man who lost his life and was a victim of this. He was serving his country. Now, I have my opinions about the U.S. military, but that's neither here nor there. But I will say this. This was a young man, presumably African American, based on his name, Julian Maurer, and the other people here have African American names, LaChandria, Desmond, etc., right? Not presuming the race of the people because it's never listed here, but we can actually make an educated guess based on the names. African American men are more likely to die from gun violence at the ages, I believe, from 18 to 45 before anything else. The number one cause of death of black men in America is gun violence. So for anybody, and I get a lot of these people, black men, who come on my channel and attack me for my views on the Second Amendment, what is your solution for the cause of death of black men? If you actually care about black people and black lives actually matter, what will we actually do about the continued level of gun violence that plagues not only our community, the black community in America, but wider, the American society? This is affecting all people, and I'm not trying to make gun violence specifically about black people, and I'm not trying to make it specifically about any other group of people. It's about Americans as a whole. Across our country, from Alaska to Hawaii, from Maine to Florida, California to New York, gun violence, mass shootings continue to happen. Innocent people continue to die. Innocent people continue to get hurt in the crossfires of these things. And people who are involved in criminal activity or not involved in criminal activity, or are the victims of criminal activity, continue to be hurt by gun violence. How long does this continue? Will this continue to happen before we realize we can have sensible gun control, like what exists in Canada, like what exists in Turkey, like what exists in Germany, like what exists in Italy, like what exists in Spain or Portugal or the United Kingdom? How come in America we worship the Constitution as if it was given by God when it was literally written by slave-holding aristocrats who did not care about the common people? And we worship the Second Amendment. In fact, we misinterpret the Second Amendment, which actually says a well-regulated militia shall not be infringed upon by the government. Somehow this means we all deserve a 9mm and an AR-15. It's ridiculous. Americans are the stupidest people on the planet for allowing these crimes to continue to happen and for allowing its citizens to be victims of gun violence senselessly. A young man who is in the U.S. military, and in America we worship the military. This man can no longer go fight the wars abroad that we sponsor because he died from the war in our streets. My name is Simon Hill. Abolish the Second Amendment. Thank you for watching.